Hey there, YouTube. It's Petey Two Finger. I wanted to come back and give a review on the Positive Grid Spark Mini. So I had won this at an auction. I paid $40, and that included the tax and the shipping. It was like $40.30 for me to get this shipped to my house. This product is available now. It's been on the market for 2 years. They cost $230 US, but I'm going to pop over and show you guys pictures of the auction. I got mine on shopgoodwill.com. And as you can see, it was banged up and it had this purplish looking liquid. I assume maybe it was nail polish. But yeah, when I told my wife I wanted to buy this thing, she was like, that thing, it's disgusting. Why would you want to buy that filthy thing? Well, when I received the unit, I went through trying Petey's bag of solvents. And I started off with like dish soap. And then I went to powdered cleanser like Comet. And then I went to 70% rubbing alcohol. Then I went to naphtha, then I went to paint thinner, and finally the only thing that made a dent on the purple stuff, it all came off. It all came off. The only thing that worked was acetone. Now this looks like an Italian design. This is not Italian. Doesn't that look like it could be made in Italy? So this product, I gotta say, knocks it out of the park. There's nothing else in its class or even like kind of comparable to what this does. It does it so well. But then again, like it doesn't replace a real Vox AC30 or whatever amp it may be modeling. Like this is a facsimile and you could plug it into a larger PA system and make it louder. What makes it so phenomenal is it's tiny and it's really way louder than it seems it should be for its size. But the sound quality is really good. Not only that, you just plug in a USB-C and charge the battery and then you're good to jam for a long time. So when you turn it on, you plug your guitar in here and there's a volume knob. There's another knob next to it. That's the volume for the backing tracks if you want to play along to a jam track. There's only one other knob, and that gives you 4 different presets of like a flat nothing sound, a sound that's been boosted to a treble amp with like a Vox AC30 with a little reverb and a stereo ping pong delay. Like that's basically my tone. 3 is like a lead guitar sound with distortion. You can play rhythm with it. It's got a pronounced ping pong, different sounding delay with a reverb on it. And then 4, like a wet sound. 4 is high gain, rock and roll night, rock and roll city. No reverb or delay. It's just clean, brutal gain. Modern. So you can basically, you charge it up, you can hear those 4 sounds, you can play backing tracks through it, and the backing tracks sound great. The fidelity of the unit is surprising. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what the black magic is in here. There's 2 2-inch speakers to make it sound like it's a 6-inch speaker at least. How they've able to turn a little 2-inch thing into something that sounds like I don't know if you've ever heard a 15-watt Fender, a little practice amp, like a good one, cranked. They're pretty loud. This has a quality to the sound, though. It's hi-fi, and all of the guitar sounds in it, there's like, you can go through it with put it on your phone where it shows you all of the amplifiers. You can just swipe which one you want to hear. And same thing with the effect pedals. But that being said, you can go through and change everything around, but everything sounds really good. Like I've had some units, the NUX MG30 that's right over here, I play through. I have an MG300, excuse me, here's the MG300, and there it is. It's a pedal. And then I have the MG30, which is the more expensive one. Now, I bought the 300. It was like $100, and I was like, holy cow, this is the best guitar tone. The modeling, like the amps all sounded what they were supposed to, and they had like a lot of character. That's the thing about this amp modeling in here. The amps have character. It's not like some of the old amp modelers would be like, this is a 59 Plexi. This is a 2002 fire-breathing Insano plate amp. They all sound the same. Not the case. The effects, they give you enough, but the quality, and you can tweak, but the emphasis is on quality. And I would say, surprisingly with this, like, okay, my MG30, I bought this thing. I freaked out on the amp modeling, how good it sounds. Making all these sounds, combining effects, and adjusting it to get my perfect sound. And I loved it. Then they came out with the Big Brother, and I got that. And I had spent all this time tweaking these sounds and got them perfect for songs I had written. So I'm like looking at the new one, and it's got the same amps and the same effects. It just sounds more HD, more better quality, but it's the same gear. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save myself some time. Just write down the numbers of the patches because they were incompatible. You couldn't hook up a cable and just zap them. I had to physically write down, okay, this song, I use this Marshall 1959 amp. The gain is on 50. The master volume's on 75. Bass mid-range treble is 50, 3 o'clock, noon, whatever. I'll write that stuff down, and then I go in the other unit, program it, and I found that they didn't sound anything like the other unit. As a matter of fact, a lot of those patches were terrible. So I had to go back and shut the effects off, shut the EQ, balance everything out flat, and start from scratch and be like, wait, this needs a different amp, or it has to be set up different, and I would do it by ear from the start and come up with a different patch that ultimately sounded way better than the MG30. Now, the MG30, it seemed like no matter what you combined with it, everything fit with, like, my experience is working with like Apple software. They have it figured out. So any combination of any sound you use that comes with GarageBand in their sound folder, it all is like in the key of C, it all fits together. You could just throw it on a timeline and move it around, and all of a sudden, like, you're Rock Me M and fucking Deus, you got a hit. You know what I mean? But, and I like it like that. When we're working with high tech, it's nice when other people do the work. But I feel that same way about the MG30, where it's easy to get a great sound because everything, there's not a bad sound in the unit, kind of applies to this here. Everything just sounds great. Whether it's the clean or the dirty or the in-between stuff, it's unbelievably simple to use and intuitive, easy to figure out. You can go complicated with it if you want to hook up your phone, or you can just use the 4 presets. They give you exactly, like the second patch on here, I was like, oh my goodness, that's exactly my sound, And then there's a third one, which is more distortion, and it's got some reverb and delay, and the other one is more distortion, no reverb and delay. So it's like, finally, somebody who's got their thinking cap on is making the presets for these things. So, no, I paid for this. Ultimately, like, this is a luxury item. Like, you're going to spend $240 for this. So I would decide, is this enough for you? Do you want to have the portability, or do you want to get the bigger one and get even more out of it? I don't know. I really like this little thing that sounds amazing. The bigger it is, the least cool. Of course, it should sound good. It's this big fucking thing. It better make me lunch too. So there is that cuteness factor, but it isn't gimmicky. This amp really does sound. The sound of it, it sounds like a mastered studio album. It doesn't sound like a little Fender Champ sitting in the corner of a hollow room. This sounds like it's got the compressors and the limiters and the golden tube amp and the spring reverb. It's like a tweaked out, mastered. This is Eagles, Hotel California, you know, refined guitar tones. And I'm sure you could probably set it up and make it sound like what's his name? Steve Jones. He had he had these stolen Fender amps that I think they stole them from a Bowie gig, and they were like Fender twin, so it's were super powerful 2 12-inch speakers. But they had taken the Fender speakers out and they had put these speakers in there that can drill a hole in concrete. They're 400 watt rated, these speakers. They're unbelievable. They're called Gauss, German, 2148. And they've got big, it looks like a cannon on the back of it. It's got ribs all over it, like the magnet thing. And they weigh like 80 kilos or something. They're unbelievable. 400 watt speaker. And he had 2 of them in this thing. So if you picked it up, it'd break your back. Now he had a MXR Distortion Plus, which is a little yellow pedal with a 9-volt, and they would put that in the back of the amp. So he had a 50-foot long cable that went out to the stage, and it went into his amp, or rolled up back there, and then that cable went into the amp where they kept the pedal, and then out of that pedal was a 3-foot cable or 6-foot cable that came around that went into the front of the amp. That was his rig, and that sound that you hear, it's that Fender Twin with that those speakers and that Distortion Plus. It's a magical distorted. That's rock and roll sound, you know. But probably make your ears bleed, you know, that amp. And talk about a backbreaker. So to be able to get these sweet types of distortions and tones at these quieter bedroom volumes through a little all-in-one thing that's unbelievably easy to operate. This is he swings, he hits, he bass loaded, all-star, when they shoot the fireworks off, triple play, whatever. There really isn't any other product that this is competing with right now. Like Spark has come in and redefined mini amp. Like if you look on the internet, what people are saying, this is the best little guitar amp ever made. And I completely agree with that. This is a super rare thing. I'm not one of these people that comes out and says, I just love these products. They do everything flawlessly. I do intend to use this live. I'm gonna, the next remote, on my center channel amp, I'm gonna try splitting the guitar and running a line to this, and then coming out and going to 100 watt Class D amp board that's powered off of a 24 volt lithium ion pack. And it'll have a 3-band guitar EQ in the front of it, which I probably will set to the shrill end of the deal, like emphasizing the high end and with a low end roll off. That's how the amp will be set up. And come out of the headphone jack of this and have a cable going to the 100 watt head. Well, it's actually probably like 40, you know, but, and that's just my center channel. I'll have the new XMG30. I would have to manually, I would probably use the 4th, like the high gain sound on here. I think it's gated too. There's a subtle noise gate on it. So, I haven't tried it out. I have to set that up with that amp, run this cable over there. When I built the amp, I put an 1/8-inch male. And there's a toggle switch to take you from the front of the amp that has a 1/4 inch to the side of the amp. And there's a countersunk 8-inch female connector there. And inside with the firmware on this, I can tell this that I want to change the headphone output jack from stereo to mono, and I will do that. So anyway, yeah, my review of the Positive Grid. It's a once in a lifetime where you're going to run into a product that like redefines what people think of when you think of what a practice amp should be, and it's this. Absolutely phenomenal job to the guys at Positive Grid. I used their software a long time ago. I got the bias stuff, and it was a premium app, and it had premium sound and just a ton of features. Like it was just crazy how hard they went on it to replicate all of the different things you could adjust to make amp modeling. So, like I love Positive Grid. I love IK Multimedia. That's the Amplitude is the name of the software that IK Multimedia makes for guitar. And I bought this amp. This was 22. I paid 40 for this, and I paid 22 for this. This, you were supposed to be able to go with your phone and change all the amps and the pedals. That part of I didn't know it. I bought it, and then I found out that part of the service had been discontinued. So I'm stuck with this amp that only has the regular, doesn't have any amp modeling in it. It's got 3 levels of gain, and at the high gain, all 3 of the presets are great. The high gain sound is modern, but and you can stack this. You can take this and plug it in. You plug a cable from the headphone going to the auxiliary input on this, and it gets a lot louder. But yeah, these are bigger speakers. This is a, I think it's a 3.5 watt per channel. I think it says a 7 watt. Maybe it's just one driver. I don't know. But it also has an output on it, so you can put that 7 watts into a 12, which maybe that's what I would need to do is run this. Come out of the headphone port into the auxiliary in, and then go out of the speaker jack here and go into my 12-inch. I have a little cabinet, a small what is this? It's Califone. It's a Califone. CALIFONE. If you look at any of the music videos, you'll see that center channel cabinet is to my left. When I'm playing, there's a white amplifier, a box, and there's a brown cabinet. Califone, that's the 12-inch speaker. So I could either run this into that white cabinet, that's that 100, it's a 100 watt rated Class D chip amp. It's a TPA 3116 D2 is the power amp chip. And that's probably like 40 watts or something. Or like, with the if it's an 8 ohm load. But I don't, this isn't generally like P Two Fingers dick measuring contest. I don't like, it should not be so much about gear. I hope it isn't on here. I don't want to be one of these guys that's just constantly talking about tone and that you have to buy this latest new thing. Anyway, I've got to hopefully try to get something done. I've got much more editing to do. You guys, maybe I'll see you over there for that Dweezil. I keep calling her Dweezil. Maybe I'll see you over at the, not those Record Junkies, but the other Record Junkies podcast for the Moon Unit thing. And keep your eyes peeled for that little, this is so cool because it gives you the power to, you can take your music out and you can do what we do. Go to the park and set up in the corner and play. See how many crazy people you attract. But you want to get rid of them, All right, you guys. Thank you for joining me on this one. I didn't like, I didn't pay, they didn't send me that, but I would have given it the same review if they would have sent it to me, or if I would have paid full price for it, because it's that good of a product. And I'll always try to be like that on this channel, but I never got anything for free to demo. In the meantime, you guys, hug your pets and peace.